Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother, Mother, can you keep them in the dark for life? Can you hide them from a waiting world? Oh, Mother!
What?
Father! Gonna take your daughter out tonight. Gonna show her the world. Oh, Mother! Not about to see your light. And if you
You're listening to Privileged White Male Radio. I am your privileged white male. My name is Rod. Back here on the podcast this week after a day off. I've been slightly uninspired, but I'll get to that in a moment. You might notice a little bit different sound here, and I'm just going to take a brief technical moment for those of you using Spreaker as podcasters rather than listeners. Something that I have seen a bit of since I started, and I did lament the fact in the very beginning that I could not use my my Bluetooth headset, or at least not the microphone portion of it on Spreaker, and that there was no way to get it to connect. I had to constantly hold the phone up to my mouth, and the background noise was terrible. And I popped my P's and slid my S's constantly, and I didn't like it, so I had to talk on the backside of my phone. I'd also, if I was going to read something, the audio would change. Well, I found a workaround. And I'll just briefly explain what that workaround is. You open the Spreaker app, start your podcast. Then you place a phone call to another phone. I'm fortunate enough to have a work phone besides my play phone. So I made a call to that, and it automatically, trust me, I found this completely by accident because I answered a phone call while I was trying to do a podcast. That podcast never made it here to Spreaker. So totally accidentally, I found this worked, and now I'm using it for the first time, and it seems to be working pretty good, other than the one drawback, and I'll throw this out there, and then I'll get on to what I've got to talk about. The audio is very low in the earpiece of the Bluetooth headset. I can barely hear it. So when I play things like this, wait a minute, back here. Oh, my theme music is still playing. My intro music still playing. Let's join the end of that. Yeah, I can barely hear that. Oh, yeah! I really should do some research and find out some more about this guy who did this dancing cover that I'm using. I just happened to find it. All right, on to the podcast. Oh, wait a minute. I need to make sure I keep my phone open here so I can make sure I'm still broadcasting. There we go. Albino people are being hunted for their body parts. Like I said, I was a bit uninspired, but this inspired me. I saw this and I went, what? Albino people are... This is from CBS News. Now, if I hadn't seen that it was CBS News, I would have went, all right. What was this, Art Bell? Alex Jones? False flag. They're hunting people they're hunting albinos for their body parts. New World Order. This is from Lilongwe. I'm doing my best to pronounce that. Lilongwe. Lilongwe Malawi. She is haunted daily by the image of the decapitated head of her 9-year-old son. Police asked Edna Cedric to identify it after the boy who had albinism. Albinism? How's that pronounced? Albinism. Was snatched from her arms in a violent struggle. The death in February was one in a recent surge of killings and abductions of people with albinism in the southern African country. So obviously that's where Malawi is. They are targeted for their body parts, which are sold to be used in potions made by witch doctors who claim they bring wealth and good fucking luck.
What?
Exactly, Greg. At least 18 albino people have been killed in Malawi in a, quote, steep upsurge in killings since November 2014, and 5 others have been abducted and remain missing. According to an Amnesty International report Thursday, that's where that's from. The toll is likely to go much higher because many killings in rural areas are never reported. According to the report, Malawi police have recorded cases where the bodies of people with albinism have been illegally exhumed. So over in Malawi, they're digging up albinos. There's a hot market for albino body parts over in Malawi. He says, you want to talk about the American dream being dead and the desperation here in this country? Holy fuck. In Malawi, they're so desperate for wealth and success, they're digging up albinos and selling the body parts. Malawian police say the growing violence comes after neighboring Tanzania imposed tough measures against such trade in January 2015. So what does that mean? Tanzania has restricted trade on albino body parts, so now they're killing them in Malawi. They had to go where I literally was shocked to read this. Now I'm going somewhere with this. Just hang tight. I'll finish a bit more of the story. Cedric, the mother of, and again, a female named Cedric. Cedric, the mother of the murdered boy, recounted his abduction to the Associated Press last month while holding the murdered boy's surviving twin brother, who also has albinism. So, let me get this straight. Wow. You know, we've got a buffalo here in North Dakota called White Cloud. Excuse me. God, we thought that was a big deal when that thing was born. Had huge Native American implications, but twin albino boys, that's a doozy. Before I could understand what was happening, they sliced the mosquito net, grabbed one of the twins, the 26-year-old said, tears in her eyes. I held on to him by holding his waist, at the same time shielding the other with my back. When they could not overpower her, one assailant hacked her in the forehead with a machete. This dazed me. Hello, exactly? A machete to the forehead. That would probably do a little more than daze a person. And I lost hold of my son, and he was gone. I shouted for help, but when relatives arrived to our house, the assailants were gone. The boy's twin keeps asking where his brother is, she said. She lies, saying he will return. No, he won't. On the same day of the interview, a deadly attack was carried out in another part of Malawi on a 38-year-old Fletcher Messina. That's some strange names over in that part of Africa. Fletcher, Cedric, obviously influenced by the, I'm assuming the British. 38-year-old Cedric Fletcher. Sorry, rumble strips. That tells me I'm going off the road. Cedric Fletcher, an albino father of 4. When his body was found, the limbs were missing. Activists in Malawi recently took to the streets to protest, marching to Parliament to present a petition calling for the strict penalties for people who attack or kill people with albinism. President Peter Mutharika has since established a committee to look into the issue, which he called disgusting.
Everybody stop. What the fuck?
That anybody could think that you could be rich by using bones or something like that because some witch doctors have said so, that's stupidity, he told a political rally on June 1st. All right, why am I bringing up albinism? Why am I talking about this on the Privileged White Male Radio Show? Take a look at our news. This goes back to why I've been uninspired so far this week. Usually there's something that I've heard in my many, many things that I listen to, from talk radio to CNN. That's mainly where I go. I don't frequent Fox News ever. MSNBC, seldom. BBC occasionally. But usually something I've heard, even a snippet on a news break. will inspire me in some way, shape, or form to go, oh, I got to bring that to the podcast. This week has been overwhelmed with Donald Trump's racism and this stupid judge. And he's Mexican. And Trump's, I'm building the wall. And he's going to be biased. He can't give me a fair trial. And so the press is just losing their fucking minds over it. They won't let it die. And he's not helping. And Hillary and Bernie and the shit we're talking about on our airways, in our media here in the United States. I just thought it was a huge contrast to go, look what's going on in a country like Malawi. This is what they're bringing to their government. This is what they want fixed. They want albinos, and I know I'm laughing about it because how do you not? How do you not chuckle a little bit? But the truth is, it's a sick, sad, macabre story. It's awful. The fact that this goes on in our world today, this is just one story. There are thousands like it. This one makes CBS News because why? Well, it plays good over here. It caught my attention. It's titillating. It's interesting. It's crazy. Like, what? They're killing albinos. They're abducting albinos. They're selling their body parts to witch doctors? Witch doctors! And in the meantime, we sit over here, not only in the media, but on social media, amongst ourselves, and pick back and forth about all this stupid shit. Stupid, meaningless fucking shit. In the end, it's really stupid and meaningless. Is Trump a piece of shit? Shit, yeah, of course he is. God, the guy's a fucking lunatic. Hillary Clinton any better? No. She's just as filthy dirty. Even more so in my book. Trump's just a fucking idiot when it comes to this shit. Trump, all from Trump University. We're going to get him. So in order to deflect, he talks about this judge being a Mexican. Guy was born in America. He's an American. Yeah, he has Mexican heritage. Now, on the flip side of this, and I guess the main focal point of why I started the podcast today is race. Racism. This isn't the first story I've seen like this. And I'm not talking about the albino story. I'm talking about the Trump story. What the fuck are we doing with race in this country? Why are we letting it go this far? Why are we letting it get whipped into the frenzy that it's getting whipped into? Another story I saw, if you've heard about this Stanford rape case where this swimmer guy, this jock fag piece of shit, basically rapes this woman behind a dumpster. She's not even a college chick. She just went to a college party with her sister and ended up drinking too much and blacking out and wakes up half naked and two Swedes jump off their bikes and chase him away. Have you heard this story? I have. It's disgusting. But now, as I'm scrolling the news, an exonerated black man who was exonerated of rape talks about white privilege. That's what it is, white privilege. Now, whether it is or it isn't, pumping up these news stories and inserting them for public consumption is doing nothing more than, again, whipping this up into a froth. Whipping race into a fucking froth.